Live, going live. Go. Oh, we're live. And we are live. Yes. And welcome. We have a broadcast on Friday. So I'm going to wait for some people to come in because it's 2:38. It's 2:38 in the States. It just went live on Facebook. And we have people coming in. It is 2:39 in the States and 7:39 in Amsterdam and Rotterdam, so the Netherlands. Let me just say it that way. Yeah. We have some great guests here today. So today we have a special broadcast for you for Tuesday Talk on a Friday mid-afternoon. We had a Tuesday Talk yesterday on Thursday, and now we have a Tuesday Talk today on Friday. We do know when Tuesday is at the shrine. It's just that sometimes we got to grab our guests when we can. And in Amsterdam and Rotterdam and the Netherlands, it's 5 hours ahead. So we didn't want our guests to be asleep at 7:00 p.m. Eastern time in the United States. So we are live today, and we're going to broadcast this particular episode on another Tuesday. This is going to be great. Whenever we have our international brothers and sisters, it's always a pleasure, because what it does is it reiterates the fact that those descendants who were dispersed, they weren't just dispersed to the United States. They weren't just dispersed to the Caribbean, and then you met them when their family moved to Brooklyn. They weren't just dispersed in Central and Latin America, and you meet them on vacation. They were dispersed into to Europe and the Netherlands and everywhere on this planet. So we get together. Usually we got to speak English, because in the United States, they don't push that you speak another language. And we sit here and we talk and we commune with our brothers and sisters. And we see all of the commonalities that we share. Our commonalities are way more abundant. They are wider, they are deeper, and they are more important than those silly, superficial differences that really, truly don't make any difference when you put on some good music and that beat drops and you see all the African come on out. Okay? Yeah. So today we are going to welcome our brother and our sister from the Netherlands. We have Heru Brevold from Amsterdam, and we have Rotterdam. I messed it up. Oh, no. I froze, y'all. I got nervous. I messed it up. We have Kofi from Amsterdam.
From
and
Rotterdam.
Benji. Rotterdam?
Kofi Heru is from Rotterdam, the best part of Holland. Okay.
Oh,
Excuse me. Yes, you know what happened? I always said, I'm not a mean person. I just give Rotterdam the credit. I always say, like, there's only one real city in the whole of the Netherlands, and that's Rotterdam. But if you go for the real feeling, you have to come to the heart. Excuse me.
That's true.
But you know what this is? This is like territorium. We're not dealing with that. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm just kidding. I'm just joking.
I know. Yeah. It's like when you get like New York City rappers and they be like, our borough is the best, the BX. Queens, and it's just all fun. It's all fun and games. But yes, we have them from the Netherlands, and we're going to start off our conversation talking about Pan-African spirituality, our African spirituality. What does Kemetic spirituality and African spirituality look like in the Netherlands? And we're going to start with our sister Benji. Can you tell us how you came into knowing African spirituality, and which form of African spirituality do you primarily practice?
It's actually very it's almost bizarre, because you see, this brother and I, we go way back. We go back at least like 40 years or something.
Wow.
Yeah.
Don't tell our age. Don't tell our age.
I don't mind, I'm elderly. I don't care. You know what I mean? But we've always been seeking, seeking our roots and asking them to guide us on our path, and at this time, I used to be. Let me not say I used to be. My first steps in this area
There's an
was to be
echo.
like a Rasta, You
Mhm.
were, but me more as a Rasta because, you know, I'm actually born in this country, and I've always been surrounded by Europeans,
Right.
and at a certain point, listening to reggae music, you know, um, it talked to me, and it took me into realizing that what happened, what history was, and but as I progress, I'm seeing so much more. I'm seeing the roots that our ancestors made. Even today I was talking to someone, and I said, I'm so happy that even though I'm born in the Netherlands, I can fluently speak Surinamese. We have our own language, and our language is such a gift, because I was talking to this brother. He's from Ghana, and we were comparing certain words, and I said to him, I said, something? I said, the words that we use in our language,
Mhm,
for instance, the word that is ka, which is a word from Kemet.
mhm,
It's a word that we use to
Mm.
talk about our soul, to
mhm.
talk about our ancestors that have passed. For instance, if we're talking about celebrating the ancestors, we call it kabra,
Ah,
and you know that ba is also other name for the soul. So there are so much words that we have,
mm.
are words that are like 5,000, 6,000, 7,000 years old. And this
Yes.
is because this is what our ancestors gave to us, So being through that is that I realized that all of our spirituality gave us the how should I call that? Gave us the stamina, gave us the uh,
Endurance.
endurance, the perseverance to fight and to create a legacy, to create a legacy for us, And I have been so much inspired by our own traditional spiritualities, like in Suriname,
Mhm.
but also what I see in for instance, in Brazil and in Cuba, because they're all part of that same legacy, the same traditions that have roots like 7,000 years old. So
Yes. Yes.
I'm so honored, and I keep on saying this, that what we have been given to the gift of our language, it's amazing, and it's yeah, it's so deep, it's great. I'm always flabbergasted, really, at the enormity of what we have, but it's so special as well, because there was a sister here, I'm talking about at least 20 years ago, and I
Mhm.
was talking about some clothes. We have, for instance, let me try to show you this. This is a special kind of clothes that is made by the Maroons, the people that have
Okay.
fought the Dutch, you
Mhm.
know. And we have some certain kind of types of clothes, and I was talking with her, and we have a sort of something that looked like a zigzag, and they always sew it on clothes. And I said to her, I said, this is how we call it in Suriname, and she's like, that's how my grandma calls it. And
Yes.
she was from like Georgia or something like that. And
In
I'm
the
like,
United States?
wow. Excuse me?
She was from Georgia in the United States?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
yes. And it was, and I'm like, wow. We were both silent. We were so overwhelmed at that moment, and said, wow, look at that. You know,
Yes.
even though you mostly speak English, there's still some of the words that, you use. And for instance, if we say it's something that, because I always try to find out, I'm always trying to dig for things like that. For instance, if we say in Suriname, I'm going to ask you for something, well, aksi wansani. But I noticed that even people in the Caribbean, but also people in America, they also say, I ask him. They don't say, I ask him. I ask him. You know,
Yes.
all
That's
these,
true.
it's
All these
amazing.
connectors. And
Right.
and that's because one thing that is very difficult to break, if
Mm-hmm.
and clearly we have shown not possible to break, is me talking to
Absolutely.
my child, the mother talking to her child, the father talking to her child, the children talking to their siblings and friends. And so even if our language is taken from us, our frame of mind, our structural component, what is relevant, the way we see things, and also the way we use our mouth and tongue and throat, etc., to say a word, those things don't change. And
Again,
so if you meet someone from a Pan-African brother or sister from around the world saying the same thing that you're saying, it shows that resilience and endurance that we're talking about, that just clearly cannot be killed, or we would all be gone,
we'll be
at
going.
this point. And it is really truly our endurance that shows, that's our story that lives through us, and the things that we say. So thank you for sharing that. Can you give me that word again that was shared with the person in Georgia? What was that word again?
Uh, Rorak. Nee, nee, nee. Rikrak. Rikrak.
Can you spell that?
Rikrak is, it's like R-I-C,
Mhm.
R-I-C, Rikrak, R-I-C-R-A-C. But you know something, and I think Brother Hero knows about it. Rikrak is also one of the plantations
Plantation. Yeah.
where the people stood up and fight against
Rorak.
the Dutch. Rorak, yeah, Rorak.
Roar.
So
Okay.
it's intermingled in so many ways. And like you said, everything about us is about our resilience.
It's about our
Everything,
resilience. It is about our
everything,
resilience.
everything.
That's become our story. So
Right.
I want to mention Romano Ralti, and if I mispronounce your name, I apologize. He said the game that will take the world. Let's support our brother. Why you giving out teasers and spoilers? We're gonna get to that, Romano. We're gonna get to that closer to the end. We're definitely gonna talk about a game. And in my what I put out in terms of the description of this show is that there's going to be a surprise. So Romano that was a well placed comment, and there is going to be a demonstration or an explanation of a game that you all should get for Kwanzaa, Christmas, Hanukkah, Festivus, whatever.
Yeah.
It's something that we need. So
Sure.
right. So if we can go over to Kofi, and Kofi, tell us a little bit about, how you practice your spirituality, and if you can, to mention the Akan.
Okay. I was born in Suriname, and I started, my spiritual journey as a musician with the Suriname culture Winti, playing in a Winti group. And Winti is like Santeria and so on in the other parts of the world. So,
Okay.
but in Winti, there the most of it is from the Akan culture, because in Suriname, of course, there's a mixture of people from West Africa, but the most dominant one, at least in Suriname, to my knowledge, is the Akan, because in Winti, it's represented by the name of the supreme being Anana Kedwaman Kedwampong. In Akan, they say Nyankompong Twediampong. So it's obvious something lost in the translation over hundreds of years. But lots of things, as Sister Benji was saying, is still the same in the language. So we have also the day names, the Dading, the Akradim, Bosom, that the Akans have. We have them too. Of course, the Jamaicans have them also, and this is what I grew up with. And when I came in Holland, in Rotterdam, as Sister Benji said, we started hooking up with the Rastas, following the Marcus Garvey legacy and so on. And I became somewhat of a griot in those days, playing in a reggae band and being one of the singers of the first reggae band in Holland. And to my knowledge, also the first reggae band for the Suriname people also, because there were no roots reggae before that. So this was part of the journey. And then, of course, internet started, and we started seeing, we heard about Malcolm X, of course, and Louis Farrakhan. So Islam was part of my journey also. Okay. So I hooked up with, the philosophy of the Nation of Islam, and later the more traditional Islam. And from there, I stopped, and because I was still looking for our own stuff, because you find remnants of our stuff in the Bible, in the Quran, everywhere, and this is what triggers us, people all over the world to relate to religion, because there's something familiar in there.
Yes.
But then when you dig into it, then you realize that, okay, no, this is just a copy, a carbon copy. So you got to dig deeper. And so I started getting more information about Kemet. And I came across books of Ra'u Nefer Amen. So Ra'u Nefer Amen with the system of the tree of life, the Medu nature and everything, and the cultivation. So I started reading those books, and I start seeing Winti in it, what we know as Winti. Because when I saw the tree of life, I saw Ampu, we got what we call Ampuku in Winti. We got all these deities, these spirits, these angels, and I saw, them back in the Kemet structure. So this led me to translate a part of his work and made a book, Winti and Kemet. So then we started doing the cultivation also with a group in Rotterdam, and so this was a bit of the journey. And at this point, it's the same thing, but now it's more translated into the West African form of it, because as we were saying before the live broadcast, we were talking about how everybody is waking up now all over the world.
Yes.
Our brothers and sisters in Africa, Abibirem, as the Akan call it, Tamare, some call it, but everybody's waking up and remembering where they're from and saying they're from Kemet. Some say we are the original Jews, and all that, and everything ties into the same thing, because it's all, it's all the same culture, it's the same religion,
it's the same
spirituality.
That's right.
So this is the way I profess it also now. Brother Romano Rauter is part of a group where every now and then I visit them also in Amsterdam, so we have discussions there. They are more focused on the Winti side of it, but it's the same thing, because everybody's waking up and seeing the value in the Kemetic legacy, and of course the West African legacy. So this is what we're pushing, and this is also the root of the game I'm presenting now, because it's literally a download. Because in my daily practice, of my daily spirituality practice, I get in contact with all these what they call aboson, what we call Winti, what the Kemetic peoples would say natures, Necheru, Necherach, You know,
Okay.
it's a real thing. You know, you keep a report going about your day and everything, and it's like having a mastermind alliance with them. You know, and they really they live. You know, and of course you guys know that because everybody here, everybody listening, everybody watching is spiritual. So but it's amazing to you know to experience these energies in real life, giving you advice and so on. And sometimes when you don't when you don't adhere to the advice, you know, it's not that like they punish you, but you know you punish yourself because you know you
Because you're
fall
out of
flat on your
alignment.
face.
Yep.
What do you say? Yes.
I said because you're out of alignment, you're out of balance,
Yeah,
you ain't paying
yeah,
attention.
yeah. You're not
You ain't
paying
listening.
attention to yeah. So this is my thing. So that's it.
Can you give me can you say it one more time? I want to put it in the chat. You said Netsuru is aligned with what was the word you said?
Oh,
Vini?
the account would say
Winty.
abosoms, and we say winties.
Can you spell that?
Winty is WINTI. Toch, Sisa Benji,
Yeah,
ja, toch?
yeah, yeah. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
and you know, I wanted to say something because I was watching Dr. Richard King. You know, Dr. Richard King is a neuroscience scientist. He was.
Mhm.
And I was watching a documentary from him, and there was this lady. She had a dream, and she was explaining to him that she was in this place. She was walking on grass, and she held her both her grandfather's hands,
Mhm.
and she said she could feel the wind in the dream.
Mhm.
And one of the grandfathers had passed, and the other one was still with her.
Mm-hmm.
And then Dr. Dr. King said, he said, you know the symbol of the nature in Kemet. He said it's the flag. He said, but it's not the flag. It's the energy that moves the flag. It's the wind. And
Uh,
windy means wind.
yeah, true, true, true,
Oh,
true,
okay. Hmm.
true, true, true. Nice perspective there.
I just
Thank
loved it.
you.
I just had to watch that over and over again. So
Mhm.
did he really say wind? I'm like, wow. You know, because it's like wind. When you breathe, it's also wind.
Yeah,
You
you can't
know,
live
and
without it.
yeah, yeah. This it's such a deep perspective of life. You know, and you know, it could be that yeah, wind can be soft, but wind can also be hard. You know, so it's a very yeah. I'm always saying if we read the stories that people are telling us about how they were able to fight with the colonizers in Suriname. You know, it was the ancestors that guide them to use certain things, you know, and to you know, without not only their intelligence but also the spirituality,
True.
you know, to conquer them.
Yeah, yeah,
Much in
true.
the same way that the Haitians used when they defeated
Exactly.
Napoleon,
To
it was
know, yeah.
they were African in mind. I mean,
Mhm.
you know, these labels that we have are post-colonial labels.
Yeah,
And so,
Mhm.
you know, at our core and root, we are African people. And
True.
absolutely.
that's right. That's right. And I did the matrilineal lineage DNA and found who the first the original woman who is in, and I am in her lineage.
Oh,
She
okay.
a Hausa woman.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, she was Hausa. So not too long ago, you know, so just to take a pause on that, I had
Mhm.
my grandmother take the test because it goes through your matrilineal lineage. So I could have
True.
taken my mom, my girl cousins, all of that, but it just meant something more ceremonial that my grandmother took it.
Mm,
So we are all Hausa women. So I had to
yeah.
pause for a moment and think, and I'm getting chills discussing this. There was
Mhm.
an African woman in the Hausa Federation minding her business. And some white man and white woman came and kidnapped her and brought her to what we now call North Carolina.
Wow.
Even though my family is from Virginia, on both sides of my mother's family, they migrated from North Carolina to Virginia. And we had talked backstage before we got on here, and Georgia was mentioned. My father's family is from Georgia. So my family is Black American on both sides with very early roots in this country. And I just sat and thought about this woman whose name I most likely will never know, who was kidnapped and brought here. What was her day by day? Who was she? And all of us have that original one woman and that original one man that came from our motherland, and you were brought and dispersed, wherever around the world. And so when we get together and we talk about the same thing and similar things and in different languages, pronounce the words the same way, it really just shows it's like a family reunion.
Absolutely.
When and so this couple weekends ago, I think it was this past weekend, my schedule is so packed, I don't even know what weekend it was. We were in Philadelphia, and because Jabari did a tour, and my Lyft driver is Nigerian, and we got to talking. We got to a conversation just like that from the W hotel to the train station, and I told him the story about my ancestor being Hausa, and he pronounced it the way that someone from that region would pronounce it. So I asked him, "Can I record you saying it so I can practice, so I can say it the way I would have been saying it had I not been displaced from all of this?" And he was like, "Absolutely." So it was like we had 5 minutes in the car. We exchanged information. I got a video. We talked. We did a whole lot, and then boom, it was over. Because just like what we were saying before, there's an awakening that's happening with all of us. And this man was a Christian. He said he was Christian. We talked about African stuff the whole time. He said he was Christian. Even the Christians are waking up.
True.
Well, I'm happy for that, because I tell you, if you go to Ghana, it's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
The big white Jesus.
Yeah, it's heartbreaking. I mean, I went to I was in the Gold Coast, okay? I was in Elmina and staying at this hotel. They had I think they had 90 different TV channels. And when I was checking it out, it turned out that only 9 of the 90 were regular channels, and the rest were all Christian or pastors. And I'm like, okay, this is shocking. It was shocking. So I'm happy. I mean, even today, I was coming home. I told you we had a very bad incident at my job. One of our colleagues, he ended his life, and it was, we're all shocked. I mean, even now as I'm talking to you, it's a very, very very nice, a very lovely person. So I had this brother from Ghana pick me up so I could be at home. I could be at home on time, and we're in the car. We're just going forth, and he's okay, but what about this word? Oh yeah. We use it, and like us it means this and this and that. Like even when I was talking, you were saying Anana. And he said, okay, but when we say Nana, it means somebody that is like a chief. I say, okay, so we say Nana Keduama Keduampo. And he said, oh, yeah. But in that same word, it's also Amen.
True.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah, so I said, you see, the words that we're using are old words. Because, yes, we use words that are new words that we fixed from Dutch words or German words or Spanish words. We fixed them. So when we were talking, they couldn't understand what we were saying. That's why we have this amazing language. But as well, we have the roots that go way back. You know, we have the roots that go way back. And, you know, it's so important that people realize that even here in the Netherlands, even if you go to Suriname right now, a lot of the people that had the traditions, you know, they are aggressively targeted by all these different kind of churches, whether they be Pentecostal. Even if the most one of the most important places for us as people from Suriname in Ghana, called a place called Coromante.
Mhm.
You know,
Coromante.
where all the warriors came from.
Mm,
For instance, if you listen, if you go to Jamaica, they will tell you about Queen Nanny of the Maroons.
Mhm.
They were from that region. At a certain point, the Dutch and also the other Europeans didn't pick up people from that area because they were fighting. They were fighters. They were all warriors. But if you go there now, you will see that the whole place is surrounded by Anglican Church, Pentecostal, Jehovah Witnesses. You know, they target the people very, very directly.
very
You know,
directly. Hmm.
yeah.
To tamp
So
down the mind. To
of
tamp down.
course,
And
if
what
you
I
don't, mhm.
no, go ahead. Go ahead. Hmm.
No, if you don't know your tradition, you know, for instance, I'm like I said, I'm very happy to be able to speak Surinamese, you know, but a lot of people, they don't want their children. It's changing now. I'm so happy. I'm so happy. I'm so grateful. But a lot of people, like people that are a little bit older than me, they weren't allowed to speak Surinamese because, you know, they could see it like, as I say, oh, you've been vernegerd, yeah, you're a Negro, so you're not supposed
Backward,
to be close.
it's backward. Yeah.
Yes, backward, you know. And I'm trying to tell people, I say, hey, listen, there's a lot of people out here, people that are Chinese, they don't speak Dutch, but their children end up being like doctors and lawyers and whatever. So it's not about the load that it's not about the language, it's about the load, it's about the
It's about the
spiritual,
mind.
the mind,
Where your
exactly.
mind is.
Yeah, yeah,
And the more I get into this and dive deeper, what is reiterated is what your God looks like dictates how you feel about yourself.
of
Period.
course,
Absolutely.
of course.
What your God looks like dictates how you feel about yourself.
Yes.
And my parents gave me as much blackness as they had. My parents gave me Malcolm X, Santa Claus ain't real, Jesus is black, and the
Mhm.
first people on the planet are African people, and you a little African
Absolutely,
child. That's what I had
absolutely
as a kid.
beautiful.
So I didn't have. Oh, and my parents did not read me bedtime stories where there's this white woman in this. She's a damsel in distress. She's the most beautiful thing in the world. And some white man gonna come save the day.
I
No,
love that.
let
Yeah.
let this embed in your little 2-year-old brain,
True.
2 to 6, and go to sleep. I didn't have any of that. And
Right.
on a sidebar, even though I was never read a fairy tale, not even one time in my life, I can give you the rundown on what happens with all of them because it's such a part of American culture. I don't know elsewhere, but American culture,
Europe culture.
European,
Europe.
that's
Yeah.
right,
Sure.
European
No, no,
culture
no, no.
that
Listen,
we don't need to
Europe. Europe.
The
think.
rubber, the rubber.
Yeah,
Right.
Europe.
So the fact that I was told that Jesus was black shifted how I saw myself. And so I distinctly remember being in the church and my pastor saying, well, we don't know what Jesus looked like. And I remember thinking, there's a description of him in the Bible. They described his hair,
Exactly.
hair like wool, white like
Exactly.
wool, feet look like
Exactly.
copper. What you
Yeah.
talking about? No description of Jesus. This was a white man. This was a
This
white
is
man.
not the description that we want. That's what it is.
It's ridiculous. So if what here and here's the thing that I came to realize myself before I became an African spiritual practitioner, etc. Why would you believe that the person who tortured your relatives gave you a way to save your
Thank
soul?
you. Thank you. Thank you.
I have asked
Thank
that
you.
question straight like
Thank
that
you.
to my
Yeah.
Black Christian friends, and they always jump to, it's the best thing that came out of slavery, or Jesus' love XYZ. I said, I didn't ask you that.
XYZ.
I didn't ask you that.
But
Why
Yeah.
do you believe him?
but the thing is, sisters, there is more than what meets the eye, because these people, they didn't came empty-handed to conquer Africa, Abibirim. They came with stuff. They came. The Bible is not just a book. The Bible, the way it's like what we call obia in
Obia.
Winti, or
Hold on.
what they call
Roy.
fudu with the
Roy.
Haiti. It's something. They came with gins. They came with with a whole army of beings, because it was the time for it. As now it is the time again for us to get rid of them. This is why
Yes.
they're so anxious. They're so busy now to push the reset down our throats, because the time has come.
The time has
it didn't
come.
happen. Yeah, the time has come. It didn't just happen like that. Something happened, to the black psyche, but it was not just inflicted by just the Musungu, the white man that is, but also with the army of demons, that saw the chance to ruin, the world. But yeah, continue. I'm sorry.
Don't forget the guns. Don't
Yeah,
forget.
well, yeah, of course,
And
God.
and I wanted to say something because I heard you talk about Santa Claus, and I think you are also aware of this celebration that's here in the Netherlands that is called Sinterklaas, which is actually Santa Claus's daddy, because you're calling him Saint Nick, right?
Y'all got
So
a Santa Claus daddy out in the Netherlands. We don't even
listen,
have it over here.
I'm going to tell you something. Sinterklaas, it's one of the most it's a program actually. It's a celebration, right? But it's a program. I mean that they are programming themselves, their children, because it's actually aimed at children, to the way they can about the way that they see themselves. Meaning, Sinterklaas is coming. I'm gonna explain it to you. Sinterklaas is coming on a boat on like anywhere next week. I think it's gonna be next week. He's coming on a boat. They're gonna be like 400 white people in blackface. They are the Swatopit.
I cannot.
Oh yes, oh yes. And what they do, it's because of Corona, okay, that it's not celebrated as it was. Because if it wasn't Corona, there would be like this white guy on a white horse, and there are about like 400 white people in blackface walking behind him. The streets are lined with people with their children. And I have to be honest, I used to be one of the people that was demonstrating against this. I mean, I was telling my children's school teacher, listen, my child is not coming to school on the 5th of December because that's supposed to be like the biggest day and they get presents and blah, blah, blah. And I had to say, my oldest son is going to be 40 next year. And in the beginning, I had a lot of trouble. I had to take him out of that school because they turned it around and took it personally, and they were taking it out of my son. So later on, my daughter, they'll tell me, okay, well, if you don't want her to come to school, you're going to have to write a letter to the, truancy officer and stuff like that. I said, oh yes, thank you. Wrote them a letter, never heard from them again. Took my kids to France or to London, so we're not surrounded by that. But then something hit me. 7-Eleven, there's a store in America called 7-Eleven, but in 7-Eleven, there came a group of people from Africa and they went into Spain. What they did is that they created one of the most greatest and glorious civilizations in Spain and Portugal until 1492. 1492, these Moors were defeated by the Spanish, and 3 million people went back from Spain into Morocco, Mauritania, Senegal. Some of them went to the Ottoman Empire because what happened? And I'm a history teacher, so I'm telling my kids this. I said, okay, so this is my question to them. I said, so how come Spain and Portugal became the strongest countries in Europe in 1492? How come almost three quarter, no, let me say 1/4 of the world is speaking either Spanish or Portuguese? Why was that? Why didn't Holland, or why didn't France, or why didn't Germany or so? Why didn't they become the strongest? It was Spain and Portugal. I said, why? Because they got the knowledge from the Moors, who had built a glorious civilization, who sent children to school when they were 4 years old, while in the rest of Western Europe, people, like only 2% of the population could read and write. Okay, they had like sewers, they had like light, they had like streets covered with tiles and everything. They had like a very strong literal how you call it, literary, yeah, reading tradition.
Yeah.
They had hospitals. They developed the compass. They geometry, mathematics. Keep going. Even music. We're talking about the guitar, right?
Yeah.
Guitar is an Arabic word. So, you know, and then this is not what we're being taught in school. We're being taught that we're talking about the Renaissance, and the Renaissance came out of Italy. Okay, the Renaissance came out of Italy. I said, but Italy didn't become the strongest country. Spain and Portugal were. I said, you guys got to think about certain things. I mean, this is not in the school books. Why not? Why are we talking about Spartacus, who was a Roman slave and fought against, Kirk Douglas in the film and da da da. Say, why are we talking about that? He got defeated by the Romans. I said, Toussaint Louverture fought against the Spanish, fought against the English, defeated Napoleon's army, okay, and abolished slavery in Haiti. I said, why are we not learning about that?
Mm-hmm.
I
True.
said, I want you all to think about that. Why is it not so? So this
Whitewashing.
is, of
That's
course, but I want
whitewash.
them to think about it, you
Yeah.
know? So
Yeah.
all of this,
Mhm.
yeah, all of this knowledge that came out of, because we thought, oh yeah, they had works from Greece and
Yeah.
Romans. I said, yeah, where did the Greek and Romans get it from?
True. The Greece also is every wave that the Musungu got, concerning Renaissance and getting them on their feet, it came from Africa, and it's something
Period.
we now
That's
know.
right.
Period.
So
Period.
you know,
Period. And it's so beautiful, and to see that this is our DNA.
true.
Okay, this is our DNA, and it's terrible. I've been to just the other day. Because I'm someone, I love to travel. I haven't been traveling for a while, and then the other day I said, you know what, I'm just gonna go somewhere, and I found out that the president of Tanzania
Mhm.
has done so much, and I've seen it with my two eyes. I mean, the guy he got like a loan from China, wanted to give him money, some billions or whatever, and he said no, thank you. You know, he cut down his cabinet. How you say that? Um, ministers. He had a lot of ministers, different people that was
Cabinet?
working
Cabinet?
cabinet. I was going to say cabinet. I thought it's a Dutch word. I'm not going to say it. We say cabinet in Dutch. But he had I think he had 40 or something people. And he said, you know what? We're going to cut it down to 19. I don't want y'all to go to Russia. I don't want y'all to go to Paris. I don't want y'all to go to London. I don't want you to go to New York. I want y'all to stay in this country and do with what we have and work on our country. And the man just did.
Magafuli you're talking about.
The man is dead. And
Yeah.
I talked to some people over there and they said, we are so shocked. We are so in mourning about this man's passing. We still cannot come to terms with it. And I remember reading it. I was reading about it in the Dutch newspaper, and they was having fun about, and he said the corona's not real, and da, da, da. Well, he probably died of corona. I'm like, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
But the
Next,
thing is, every black leader that opposes,
of
the
course,
agenda, of Europe, or be it Europe or China, because they are as just as bad. But everybody who opposes them will be killed
you
because
have to go.
they want Africa to be, without leaders,
Of
to
course, of
so so
course.
but
But they
we are
cannot
waking
stop
up.
it. They cannot stop it. The,
They can't
the,
stop.
the balance of mind has to become
Okay.
level. And
That's
they
right.
can't stop it. They
The
can't stop
scales,
it.
they can't stop it, and the scales of my aunt will rebalance. And
Right.
Europeans worldwide having a negative birth rate, despite
True.
their best effort of genocide,
Amen.
incarceration, agenda,
Mm-hmm.
True.
separation
True.
from men and women from each other, there's still
Yeah.
more of us than there are of them. And then just also people of color. Now, I don't put African people in that. We got our own special category. You can't call me of color. I'm a black. You call me a black woman. You call me Black American. You can call me African. But you're not gonna call me of color without me stopping you. But I'm saying we got the African column, then we got the of color, and then we outnumber them. And then they're gonna make sure that a part of their narrative includes the sexual prowess and dominance of black men. And you think other women ain't gonna try and just dip their toes in the black man pool, and then you're gonna end up having beige children. That's their own fault. They did that part.
True.
It's such a beautiful, I just keep on telling that, look, we just like you said, the Africans, the mother and the father of creation, and we were when you were talking about things that I do in the Netherlands about Pan-Afrikanism. I was just last week with a brother that maybe you heard about. He's a brother from England, very very inspirational person. His brother's name Paul Abina, and he has made the timeline. And the timeline is such a beautiful instrument for people to see, because a lot of people, they will not read, but to see something with your own eyes, to see that, look, we are talking about, let's say we're talking about the beginning of Rome, which is 700 before Christ. Yeah, but in that time, the civilization of Kemet was old, very, very, very old. Okay. So you can see it on the timeline. You can see that it goes back all the way. I said, so if we're talking about we being Suriname, what a lot of people have. Oh no, I'm not African. What are you talking about? I'm from Suriname. So okay, so you cut that off. But you know what? I go back 7,000 years. Okay, so we were at this school. It's a school here. It's called Sabi Urutu. That means know your roots. And we were invited to go there. And I've been talking to one of the organizers, and And he asked me, he said, well, I really want you to come over and do like a class with the children. And we were talking about this same Sinterklaas, this same Zwarte Piet, because like I said to them, I said, if you know about this, if you know about the Moors, if you know about the knowledge that they spread in Europe, you can realize, you can see it in a different way. We're flipping the script because what's happening is that if they're talking about Sinterklaas, Zwarte Piet, the Black Piet, he's the idiot. He can only do one thing. He can be a book Piet, he can be a rhythmic Piet, he can be a horse Piet, or he can be the cook Piet. He can only do one thing. And, because of different kind of demonstrations and that has been going on for ages at this time. I think at the last 5 years they've been really more powerful, and they have been changing a lot about the image of Zwarte Piet. But if you're really looking at it, it's a projection. It's a projection because if you know who the Moors are, you know that the Moors brought the gift of knowledge. So when you see Zwarte Piet with the big bag on his, a big bag full of presents on his back, you know that he's bringing the knowledge, and to project him as being really stupid, it's the other way around. So one of my aims at this time is to be bringing the real Zwarte Piet. And like I said, this brother from England, he'd been looking at it a while. He said, no, man, you need to call this man Z.P. Moore, philanthropist. I said, okay, and he basically opened my eyes on this, on this whole way that it's been flipped on us. Because every time when we see, that's what I saw when I was growing up, I'm like, oh, that guy's a slave, and they're laughing at us and laughing at us, making us ridiculous and everything. But it's not. It's their psyche, and they flipping the script on us, And the moment that we're gonna say, this is who he really was, I think we won't be hearing from Sinterklaas again, ever.
Right. Exactly. Wow, that was a nice history lesson from the perspective of what and all of that. That was great. I don't think I've ever heard you said Santa Pete.
No, Zwarte Piet. Zwart is black, and Piet is like his name. And you have Zwarte. Yeah, Zwarte means black. Just like this is also something that's always, I'm just always so, how should I say it? It's so funny. Schwarzenegger, Arnold Schwarzenegger, that just means black Negro. Yeah, it is. Schwarzenegger.
Yeah.
So
Swata, is that black in a negative way or black in a positive way?
No. Swat is negative.
Negative. Okay.
Negative, but I should say in a way that, just the way like you could say blackmailing, black market, this is the same thing that they have over here.
Okay.
And right. It's something that it's creeping. It's if you're not aware of it, it's creeping in your mind, and that's why I say I'm for instance I'm always trying to look at things and say, okay, what's the message here? Like for instance, if I'm watching TV, I'm seeing every time. I've never for the last, let me say, I've seen like maybe 2 or 3 black families, but from the last times it's always a mixed couple with mixed children. I'm like, okay, where's my black family? Why are you so intimidated by the black family? All
What?
those
Thank you.
advertisement companies. This is the message that you're giving us. You know what I mean? So yeah, I'm always looking, and I'm telling you, I'm really grateful because I see that a lot of things that just used to pass by me. Hey, something's going
So
on.
I've always caught, I think it was because how my parents raised me, blackmail, blacklist, black market.
Oh yes.
Whenever I hear those things or blackball, I just change it and be like whitelist, white ball,
Yeah,
white mail. Are
yeah.
you white mailing me? You say
Oh,
something like that, and well, it doesn't mean it that way. Okay, so then why you tight? Let's just say white
yeah.
mail. What's the problem? If it's not about race,
That's right. I
you
love
It's
know,
that.
also
I'm gonna do
conscious
that too. Thank you.
absolutely. Just flip it on
I
them.
like it.
programming.
Flip it.
Programming is programming.
Programming. Yeah, that's right.
Programming.
That's right.
It's programming.
Yeah,
And
that's programming.
speaking of program,
Yeah.
well, go ahead. Go ahead. You were going to say
Yeah,
something?
I wanted to say something because something I'm also very curious, and I'm so interested in the game that Brother Heru has. But there are two things that I really need to tell you. I'm walking in Amsterdam. I'm doing different kind of tours, but there's something that I really want you and your viewers to know. There's a stock market here in Amsterdam, and the stock market, actually, the concept of stock market started here in Amsterdam 1602. Okay, and the stock market moved to another place, and this stock market was built in 1905. It finished, and then one of the days that I was just walking around, they said there's some different symbols on this place. I really need to check it out. And there's actually one of the priests of Kemet wearing the tiger, not the tiger, the leopard skin. The leopard skin
Uh-huh.
is right on that building. There are there's some depictions of Ma'at on that building.
Mhm.
Okay, there are some different symbols from Kemet on that building. And then I was thinking to myself, I'm like, okay, so maybe this guy was the guy that the architect was influenced by the grave of King Tut. But then I said, no, King Tut was 1922, and this building is 1905. You know, so then I just realized that across the street, one of the biggest, very robust buildings is that this building with baboons on it. And we all know that baboons symbolize thought,
Yeah.
thought, you know? And I'm like, okay, so we in here, and like I said, we focused on the last 500 years, and slavery and being hauled from one place to the next and this and that. But these people know about our history and use it to better
Again.
themselves, and you know
Hmm.
what I mean. So I'm just telling everybody, if you're in Amsterdam, you just walk down the central station, walk down the street, you're gonna see this big old building, green, with these baboons. And I was firstly, I didn't make the connection. I'm like, why are there monkeys? Why are the baboons on this building? But then I said, we have to give these people credit for copying off other people's you know what I mean, symbols, and using them. And then this priest on the stock exchange, priest from Kemet with the big curly hair, doesn't look anything like anybody I've seen down the road there. So anybody being around here, go check it out. So
Mm.
that's really what I want y'all to know. that we go back to Kemet, but they do too.
Right. Thank you for giving us that story, that anecdote. That's definitely good to know. And it makes me want to go to Amsterdam to see all these things and to meet up with you guys and, basically see, Black Africa. And I use the word Black redundantly on purpose to make it clear what Africa is.
Mm-hmm.
Black Africa in action in Amsterdam and Rotterdam.
Okay, don't forget.
I cannot. So, we've been talking a lot about programming with words and programming with customs and programming with school and education. And our education, it has deception and lies and omissions and exaggerations. And all of that is programming. And so, what Kofi Haru has is another kind of programming, and it's in the form of game. And this is something that we should get for Kwanzaa, for Christmas, for Festivus. Who out here knows what Festivus is? For anything, for Hanukkah. Did I say that? I don't know. And because it's something that we should have as children all the way up to adults, because we all need to learn about ourselves. And I think that what we need to do is get rid of the shame of not knowing, because we weren't told by design. It was broken and cut by design. But I'm going to tell you this. If there's anybody out here who gardens, when you pull up a weed, some weeds you can pull up like this, boom, and then you're holding the plant and the roots are right here. Some roots, you got to dig in your heels, grab under that root, squat, engage your core, and pull. That's us. That is us. That's us.
Yeah, and some of the roots still there.
And so, and let me tell you something. You think you got it all up? You feeling good? And yes, this is an anecdotal story, guys, with my garden, because I most certainly have done a deep squat on some of them roots. And you pull up and you think you got it, but what you don't realize is, even when you pull it up, there are droplings that fall back.
Yep.
That weed has gone left and right. It's gone down. It's gone to so many places that you can't even see until you come back from vacation and your whole garden is filled with weeds again.
Yeah.
And so what Kofi Haru has done is he's created this game. And this game, I like to garden. I like to grow my own food. I like a good weed because it lets me know, it keeps me a little bit humble. Like, you ain't as good as you think you are, girl. Learn more. This is and I'm going to liken it to a garden. It's got rich, deep, pitch black soil with nutrients and the rocks in there with the minerals and the right amount of sun, the right amount of raw, the right amount of tefnu moisture, the right amount of shu wind, the right amount of love, myrrh, and the person intelligent enough, I'm gonna just go ahead and say Sashat, to make the garden grow. And so, Haru, please let us know about this game, how to play it, what's in it. I'm gonna give you the solo screen so you can have more space and you can show us what we need to see.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, first things first. It's a download, so I have to give props to the ancestors, but to the Necherus, Necherech, because it's a download from them. So I'm very blessed to have been the person to make this download, but I have to give them props. So the thing is, as we are talking about reprogramming ourselves, yes, it's a key to get back into the knowledge of the ancestral realm, and also to realize that we were not called after the planets for nothing. Because this is one of the things that I was thinking about also before it came down. So from the Akan, from West Africa to Jamaica to Suriname and lots of other parts of the world, we work with these names, Kofi, Friday, but it's linked to Venus in this case. Kwasi, Kwasiba, or Koshua is linked to the sun. It's Heru. Monday, Ajua and Kwajo linked to the moon. So I was thinking, so how come these people, called, their children after planets? And, so, but of course, the answer is obvious. It's it's one way for them, I think, to install, a virus killer into our system for us when, as you were giving the example so beautifully, when we get our bags to clean ourselves. It's the Kepra thing, where Kepra places its eggs in manure, and there's lots of nutrients there for it to for the eggs to come out and fly. So this is how I see the names also. So in this game, you can playfully use them and rekindle the knowledge, because the DNA has memory. So
That's right.
it's one way of DNA to remember, to get back to the surface, bring back to the surface what is needed. This is the playing field. The playing field is our solar system. So the solar system has rules that are used in the game also, and the game is played with 4 groups of anks, 7 anks, for the 7 days of the week, of course. And these are the Akradim Bosum from Ghana, as we have them in Suriname and Jamaica also. And they represent these 7 days, but also it's a Kemetic thing, because the Ankh in Ghana, they said for life, they said Ankwa, Ankwa. And Kemet say Ankh, but it's the same thing. It's also a fertility symbol, and so on and so forth. So it's played with 7 Ankhs. There's a 10-sided die to roll and to get into the game. I will upload the manual and some tutorials, so I'm not getting into the tutorial part of it now, just the philosophy. So something else about it is that you need cowrie shells to get into the playing field. There are 12 houses in our solar system which is used for astrology. So this is a playing field with 12 houses, and you need 12 cowrie shells. Actually, there are 13 cowrie shells in a bag. So you randomly have to pull a cowrie shell, and that one determines where in the solar system your Ankh will be placed. First, you need a die, a 10-sided die, or you can use also 2 normal dies. But the 10-sided die, with the die or dice, you can determine what Ankh to use. If you roll number 1, for instance, then you know it's Heru, or as the Akan would call them, Kwesi and Akoshua. So this is how you determine which Ankh to insert. But then you need the cowrie shells to determine the place of birth, or a place of placement, a house of placement. So this is part of the game mechanism. What else is good to mention in this game? I use also in the game assignment cards, and the assignment cards consist of the 12 laws of the 42 laws of Ma'at. And it's a beautiful way also to program yourself, because let's see, one that I like is the one that says, I think it's law number 35. I have not committed treason against my ancestors. And the thing is, the way it works is that I then underlined these words. So the syllables, you count the syllables, and these, determine the steps that you take on the playing field. But the concept is, because you need to move forward, you have to, program yourself. I have not stolen, I have not wasted water and whatever. So all of these things are in the game. Of course, this is a spiritual version, but there's also a version with the black inventors, the three lights, traffics, and so on, the filament for the light bulb and everything, and even our own Jan Metzeleker, the shoelace machine, hoe zeg je uitvinder?
Um,
Inventor.
Infanters, yeah, black
Yeah, yeah.
infanters, yeah.
So the black inventors. There's also a deck of cards with inventors, and you can go as far as you want. You could also do a Kwanzaa version. You can do whatever. And there's also a life-like version, a floor version. So
Oh wow.
it's about 1.5 meter by 1.5 meter with big anks, where you can use it
Oh,
also
wow.
for a quiz, for a television quiz, for
That's
instance, with
amazing.
with all these cards and stuff. So it's a
Wow.
system to help get the information across, and and amusement at the same
Okay,
time.
I'm ordering too right now.
Okay.
Yeah,
They coming out.
absolutely, because I think I should have one of these and donate it to the school,
Okay.
because that would be really good. That would be
For
so good.
the Sabi Yurutu school, you mean?
Sabiru to I, Imji
Okay.
then.
The
Yeah,
commercially I would say okay, order. But on the other hand, I have to say they already has some sister who ordered one for them. So,
okay.
but it's never too much. So keep your order in,
I,
in
I,
touch.
you know, I'm like, I would order, and I mean, if for instance I'm going somewhere,
Yeah,
I'm like, what we have to do, the way I see it is like, you have a beautiful idea. I mean, I'm so proud. On the other hand,
it's a download.
I know you're a total genius, and you have done so much. I mean, this guy has made cartoons, films, whatever,
Interesting.
music. Is amazing. So
I
I'm
know, I
not
know.
surprised at all, and again, you're a genius, and I mean, this
Thank
not
you.
only your ancestors, your family. This is like one of the most prominent families of Suriname. True,
Thank you. Yeah,
absolutely. So,
thank
but you're like okay, you take it to another level, and I'm
Mhm.
like, I always love to support anybody in the community that is doing something. I mean, sometimes I'm buying things, I don't keep them, I give it to somebody else. So we should take care of ourselves, look after our businesses, because this is where our children and grandchildren going to work later on.
you. True,
That's
That
how I
thank
see
you.
it.
This is where
true.
we need to be working, grandchildren and children. Now, before I comment on the game, can you tell me the name of the game?
As above, so below.
That's
Oh
right.
wow,
As
that's
above,
me.
So below.
so below. Game, name of game. I'm just gonna put name of game. So, name of game. Now we are. Um, so this is a great gift to have. Period.
That's
And for those who have some sort of Christmas going on in their home, and we did so what I've been doing is I've been having a couple of Tuesday talks that address the fact that you have some conscious Africans, and we have Black people, and we have our family members who are still in the church. They still got their little Black kids, their little babies that they birth and go to work for every day, believing in white, type 2 diabetes, superbly obese,
Yeah.
home invading Santa Claus coming to save the day. That
yeah,
makes sense to me. I know I
yeah.
earn my money. Ain't nobody getting credit for that. But anyway, I digress. The point is, this makes a great Christmas gift for those of you who still celebrate it that way.
Yeah.
This is also something that should just be in your homes. We need to while we are convening let's take out some of the things that we know are unhealthy for us mentally and spiritually, and let's put in something that is fun,
Yeah.
educational, and that can become a part of our new traditions. So
Yes.
these are moves that we have to make in order to get back to a place where we have our African minds. All right.
Absolutely.
So any questions you have about the game, we will be able to answer them as best as we can at the Shrine of Ma'at. You can DM us, direct message us at the Shrine. You can direct message me. I'm going to get their information, Haru's information, so that you can order from him. And as we begin to work the Shrine and Haru on how we can bring this to the States in an easier way,
True.
we will definitely keep you guys in the loop, aware of it. We'll post and things like that. Haru has made this, and the Shrine and Haru, we're going to talk and see what we can do to make this happen and possible for everybody. All right. So you're going to have all of the information as soon as we get it, and also for him. So Haru, do you have a Facebook page or contact information that I can give to the people?
So at this point, there is a website, www.nanayao.shop. Yeah, nanayao.shop. Yeah.
Can you spell that?
That's NANAYAW.shop.
Is there a .com after shop or just .shop?
No. Shop is the thing.
Okay,
it's the
there we go.
extension. Nanayao.shop. And it's in progress, but there's a email address, and the email address is info@nanayao.shop. So, but the thing is, you guys, I think the best thing would be if the Shrine of Ma'at, be the distributor in America.
Yeah.
That would be the best thing. So
yeah,
that would be
to ship it and all the the hustle. Maybe it's easier from you guys.
So
from you.
So understand that, family, this is a work in progress, and the game is done. The English translation is done. Those are the major milestones. The distribution is something that's very easy to work out, and we are working on that. So we shop in these white stores and these Chinese-owned hair care supply stores, and get insulted, get kicked out, get violence placed upon us, and we go back. So asking for a little bit of patience while we work a few things out is something that is reasonable and necessary, because the Black dollar, is something that we need. That's a part of our Black liberation. Not being able to do the things that we want to do based upon money is a major reason why we are going in the right direction, but it's taking the time that it's taking. Manufacturing, being the producers and the distributors of our talent, our mind, our effort, etc., is Black liberation. So your patience is your necessity for your own Black liberation. Okay.
Beautiful.
So,
Beautiful. I wanted to ask you something, because could you please, of course, the people that are coming to your channel, they know more about the Shrine of Ma'at, but could you give us a little bit of information?
Absolutely.
Do you come together? Or are you studying Medunator, or I'm so interested.
Awesome. Okay, so let me go back to Baba Haru, Ankara Samaj Septa. Baba Haru is the person who brought Kemetic spiritual sciences to the West in the way that we practice it now. Now, he will add to that and add caveats and say, well, this person and that person. So this is what I'm telling you as the origin of the Shrine of Ma'at. So he started the Shrine of Ptah, and the Shrine of Ptah. And meanwhile, Anika and Jabari met at Cornell. Anika is from Brooklyn, and Jabari is from Queens, but they met at Cornell. So Jabari had been studying and found all this information when he was a teenager. He was reading the Medunetter, the Pertim Haru in high school, among other, books and stuff like that. And he was an Africana studies major at Cornell. Anika studied the Medunetter at Cornell, despite the fact that her teacher tried to stop her, her white male teacher tried to stop her from the class. Anika got that spirit where, well, I'm gonna do it, so now what? And so she learned the Medunetter there. Fast forward to Kemetics 101. She and Anika and Jabari studied Kemetics 101 under Baba Haru. We have, I'm a priestess in the Shrine of Ma'at. There are 9 of us who are going through training. We're coming up on 2. We have 1 more year. Abut Kepra is a priest from the Shrine of Ptah. He's also in training with us to be a priest of the Shrine of Ma'at. We also have Abu Ames, who was also in Kemetics 101. So Abu Kepra and Abu Ames were in Kemetics 101 first, and then Anika and Jabari were together in Kemetics 101 after the 2 of them were in Kemetics 101. So then they go to Baba Haru and they're like, Baba, you need to have more initiates. We need you to do this and that. And they tell him Baba what to do. So Baba was like, yes, beloved, it's time for you to start your own shrine.
Wow.
So when Jabari tells the story, it's more animated and he adds more details, but that's basically the gist. They thought they were going to tell Baba what to do, then they walked out with more work.
I love it. I love it.
They started.
That's so beautiful.
Yes, Baba was like, "Get on out of here and do what you're supposed to do." So, so they started.
He makes beautiful ankhs. I hope to obtain an ankh from that
like
brother because he
Like
makes beautiful ankhs.
Like this one.
Let's ask you about that one. Yes, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yes. So
it's on my finger every day.
They started. Mine too.
Yeah.
They started the Shrine of Ma'at in 2010. That's actually when I met Anika. And I actually met Anika because she had rings on her fingers and she had her locks adorned in also joyari. And I was like, who is that? So at that point, I had been searching, had kind of given up. I was like, am I going to ever find Black God? Which is what I was in my head thinking. And I went over to her and started talking to her because of her joyari from Baba. But anyway, they started the shrine in 2010. They had Kemetics 101, not Kemetics 101, Kemetics Legacy Today.
Yes.
And I remember I had just met her and I was watching TV. I was like, that's the girl I met. And then I was like, oh, that's Anika. Oh, okay. Oh, that must be her husband. Like each episode, I was like, oh, okay. And then I was like, well, when's it coming on next? So it went from just randomly coming on to like, and I also knew her at the time. So anyway, so they started they brought in new initiates, their first set of initiates, just the 2 of them in 2018 called the New.
Let me go turn off my phone because somebody's calling me. I forgot about that. I'll be right back.
Okay, sure, no problem.
Okay.
So they had our initiation in 2018, and I remember I was living in Connecticut, and I was substitute teaching, and so I had just come off of losing my cousin, my aunt, and my father. I went to Kemet with them in 2017. Then they had initiation in 2018. So I was my frame of mind was like mourning and loss, but just invigoration because I found this. So it was a really very special place that I was. And I would leave school on time and drive to New York or drive to the train station, go take the train into the city, have my initiation, and come back every Monday. And every Tuesday, I'd be at work like this. You know how you do one of these jobs? Like this? And your head, it doesn't matter where your head is going, bob to the side. Anyway, I had like 2 hours of sleep on Tuesday. Anyway, so that's before Corona. And then we had another group that we brought in 2020. Yeah, 2020. and it was we had started our own priesthood training 2019, 2020. I'd have to look at a calendar. And then we had Rakasa Shen, which is the group that Cheryl came in, which was a whole lot of work. So first it was in person, and then it transitioned to in person, and also part of it online because of Corona. So our shrine was expanding, and we were also offering other classes. Now, and Jabari offers a 3 Millennium of Excellence, which is basically Kemetic history. He also offers an African American history class, and Anika offers a Medu Neter class where she teaches the Medu Neter. I took that class in, I don't even remember, it's either 2017 or 2018. Wow. It's 10 sessions of like in-depth Medu Neter, and you are definitely able to read some of the Medu Neter after couple classes. You can read it. And we had this was before Corona, during our summer solstice celebration, a tour at the Met, and Anika's good for giving you a pop quiz right on the spot. And I knew she was going to make me read some of it. So I knew I was ready for her. I was like, it's Anika, she's going to make you do stuff. So, and I, was reading some of the Medu Neter and doing some translations and stuff like that. Just after her, just because I had just done her 10-week class. So, when Corona quarantined us all, or when we were quarantined, we wanted to still be able to reach out into the community. So we started our Asarian series. I have Monday meditation at 5:00 p.m. Eastern time, which is 5 + 12 is 17, plus 5 is 22 hours, I think, for y'all, 5 p.m. Because it would be 10 a.m. It would be 10 p.m. Yeah, 22 hours. So it's 2,200 hours. See, I know how to do all that math, y'all. And then Tuesday, we have Tuesday talk. Wednesday is Wednesday wisdom. And Thursday, we had a boot Wasseret doing arts and crafts. She's super creative with that. So that's what we had for our Asarian series. And we continue with Monday meditation and also Tuesday talk, all of them basically. We still have,
That's amazing. It's so inspiring to hear you talk, because you guys are like way ahead of developments that are happening in the Netherlands and stuff. It's also we are actually isolated because of the language that we speak. I mean, if you would go to England, the people in England, they have access to the whole sea of English literature, whether it's from the Caribbean, whether it's from England, whether it's from America, and that's also the same for the people of France. But,
right.
The Dutch-speaking people of this world, they're not a lot, and, Dutch is, I could say it's mostly controlled by Europeans, and, we have our oral stories, we have our oral history, but we're not developing, I should say, knowledge as much in books, and it's also most of the books that we read are books that are in English, and that's also making it difficult for a lot of Suriname people, or I should say Dutch-speaking people, because I'm not forgetting my brothers and sisters from the Antilles, like Curacao and Aruba and all those places. English could be a big hindrance for us to reach certain knowledge. You know what I mean? If you're not fluent in reading English, it's going to be difficult for you to get through to a lot of stuff that's written. But this is very inspiring what you're talking about. And I know that in Rotterdam, they had a Medu Neter class, and I've been busy with trying to at least being able to decipher the Medjugorje. I think I can do that. But
Okay.
to really say that I could read it, or no, I'm not there yet. I will do it though. But it would be beautiful if you could be like in a group, and you can empower, and you can um, you can support one another to reach certain goals, and it's really beautiful. So thank you
I
so much
agree.
for your inspiration.
Oh,
I've been
thank you.
watching.
Thank you.
I've been watching you guys also, because thank God for internet, because through internet I saw Kemetic legacy indeed. I guess from the 2015 or something. I start watching. Even I got lots of recordings from them. I even watched Brother Jabari at Sam Netter. I saw the introduction for these classes he has and everything. So I've been following you guys. I know Baba Hero from internet, of course. I know all the teachers, following the what's the other guy's name? He does karate, not karate. He's a fighter.
Infudishi
Yeah,
Jerusalem.
Infondishi. Yes, brother
Mhm.
Infondishi. So thank God for internet.
You
Yes.
know, and Romano Ralte, thank you. How could I forget this? Anika and Jabari have trips every year to Kemet, and there's a trip this summer, August the 1st through the 10th to Kemet, and then 11th through the 18th to Ghana. So you can do one or the other or both. And
Yeah.
yeah, and so thank you for that. Like, how did I forget that? So I went to Kemet for the first time with Anika and Jabari in 2017. So yeah, so there are also trips. And the Center for Ma'at, www.centerforma'at.org, is also, if you'd like to learn more, just get more information. Books for sale are for sale there. Also, CDs to learn different elements of just African history or Kemetic history. And you can take a look at centerformaat.org. The shrine is a really small space. And our last group that we had, Kepru Rama'at, they were completely online. So when we have initiation, we do have initiation online for people who just are not able to make, classes in Harlem. And right now, because of Corona, nobody can go because the shrine is really small. And it's just not an option right now because of the space that we have inside the shrine. And until we get our own building where it's bigger, that's just not a conversation we're having, because it's just not safe for people to just bunch up into that space. So, but we're online and we do a lot of stuff online, and we've been online. So when Corona happened, we were already set up and ready for it. We really didn't miss a beat when quarantine happened, except for the fact that we missed being in each other's presence.
The presence, yeah.
We have our Ra celebrations every equinox and every solstice. We do that at the Tekken in Central Park, which is incredibly
Yes.
misnomered.
I've
Cleopatra's
seen
Needle.
it year after year. I've seen you guys sometimes in the
Yes,
cold, and I see
it's
that.
brick. Have you heard of that expression? It's brick,
It's
No.
what?
brick, like a brick.
Like a brick house.
No, it's so when we say in the Northeast,
Good.
it's brick. That means it is cold.
Oh,
Okay. Okay.
It's
I believe
brick,
that. I believe that. I believe that. Ooh.
not cold. It's not,
Ah,
cold. And then also you'll hear like no exposed skin. The weatherman will say you should have no exposed skin, which means everything better be tucked in.
tucked
Everything,
in. Yeah.
everything. And if you miss
Wow.
one little finger tuck, you're gonna feel that breeze. It's gonna come up here, and you're gonna be
Yeah.
cold right here because you
Yeah.
missed the tuck. And
Yeah.
then there's it's brick. That's
Wow.
when you
Oh,
violate it.
and then there is Rick.
And then there's brick.
Oh my gosh.
Sometimes it's brick when we at the winter solstice.
Mhm.
It'd be brick.
Yeah. Oh
Yes.
wow.
We'd be like,
What? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've seen you guys around the Tekken. I see.
Yeah.
Yes, we're around the second. It's fun. It's great. So I said all that to say we have outside events. Our celebration for when our initiates are done, called the Heb Keperu Wur. That's beautiful. It's June. It's the second Saturday in June. It's in Central Park. It's spacious. It is gorgeous. We have an amazing time. And the last one we did is on our Facebook Shrine Facebook page. If you want to dig for it, you can see it. It's absolutely beautiful when we have, you know, that kind of weather and we have all of our new initiates. And then we did a treasure hunt afterwards. It was a whole lot of fun.
Oh, wow.
So but you know, I just want to say thank you guys for showing up, and and everybody in the chat and who followed us on you know, our various pages, YouTube and Facebook pages. Thank you for showing up and being a part in the chat. And I appreciate, and I read as many comments as I can and highlight as many of them as I can. So, and our guests, our brothers and sisters in Rotterdam and Amsterdam, thank you so much.
Yes, thank you. I'm really honored. It's an honor to, you know, to be here, and yes, I really feel the appreciation and the connection. Thank you so much. It's, you know, I think that, like you said, you know, we're connected. I hope that I can just say little things, because my maroon neighbor used to say that we are all connected to the spider web of Anansi. And I don't know if you know who Anansi is, but Anansi is a spider, and the spider is a very smart. It's always during slavery. It was a very smart. How should I say it? It's a very smart personality that was outsmarting everybody else. But the spider web, and we found, I just been finding out things about it, is that they have the gold, very big gold symbols of the Anansi. And the Anansi is also a part of one of the stars. The stars, how should we say?
Mercury.
Is
related to Mercury.
Anansi
is Kwaku. Anansi is Kwaku and related to Mercury. And the web is
so
also,
that is thought.
Yeah. And the web is also in the game.
Oh, okay. Of course. Watch this. What a connection again. So we're all connected to the spider web, you know, and that is really, we connected, and that can't stop.
True.
So thank you so
and it
much.
Can't stop.
Yeah, and I hope that I will be able one time to be at one of your celebrations, either in the break or in June, and I hope that would be really lovely. So thank you so much.
Did you say in the brick? Did you say in the brick or in June?
Yeah, in December. In the break. You know,
come on in the brick. Come in the summer. Yes.
Okay. Take care.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir. Take care.
In the words of Diddy, can't stop, won't stop.
No way, never.
Shema Matep, go forth in peace, and peace to the family. Shema Matep.
Yes, waka boom, waka boom. Walk good, be boom, be good.
Okay.